Yeah, all the online students, good afternoon. Rahul, Sonakshi. Khushbu, it gets uploaded. Check again, it should be done. Ankita, Rishav, Muskan, good afternoon. So we are joined by a new set of students, the relay that we have. So one of the entry points in geography is oceanography. So welcome all of you. And we have some of the older students also. Yeah, online. Good afternoon. So I'll just spend a few minutes orienting the new students. My voice is echoing. Akshata, what about others? The same complaint, others also, or just Akshita? Akshita, it looks like you could try maybe logging back again, or your speaker or headphone, whatever. Take it. So welcome all of you. So for the older students, we finished topics of environment and biogeography, and now we start with oceanography. So you are all part of the foundation course first, and those who have begun earlier, as in May, June, July types, okay, you can join the enrichment batch of this year starting from September. But those who are joining from today, you'll have to talk to me afterwards maybe, if you can be part of enrichment program starting maybe around mid of September. ठीक है, so अभी आप foundation पे ध्यान दो all of you. Okay, it's nice, Rishabh, ठीक है. And you all have to buy some books. The book list is given to you already. For oceanography, we have this book, Oceanography by Samindra Singh. I insist that you buy the separate books. There is one common book, Physical Geography by Samindra Singh. It is a good summarization. Maybe for those who are doing the GS, it's a bit okay, but not for optional. Optional, we want the separate book for geomorphology, a separate one for climatology, a separate one for oceanography, and we have one for environment and biogeography. So you must have all got that list of books. You buy them one by one, your choice, but you must have oceanography textbook. Apart from this, you must also refer to the NCERT class 11th textbook, Fundamentals of Physical Geography. So when I am teaching the topics, I also tell you what pages from NCERT you must look up. What we cover in the optional class will take care of all concepts you need for GS. But this is not replacing GS. अवनीश सब ठीक तो है? माइक में दिक्कत है? भाई सब तो ठीक कह रहे हैं? नहीं, वो एक का कंप्लेंट है, बाकी सबके लिए ठीक है. वो लोकल प्रॉब्लम होगा, देख लो. Is it okay now? I mean, all of you are fine, सबको सब ठीक ही था, but one girl was having a problem. ठीक है, fine. Yeah, so the NCERT textbook you have to keep in your reading list, and books का ऐसा है, the older ones know that the Samindra Singh textbook is not to be read cover to cover. And there are some select passages, paragraphs, some pages which I in once in 3-4 days or 4-5-6 days, a week maybe, I'll ask you to bring the textbook and I'll help you mark those pages or sections. ठीक है, so book is important, I will not dismiss it, but पूरा किताब नहीं पढ़ना तो better है. But then if you're curious, you have time, ठीक है, that's your call. You can go for a bit of extra reading if you want to. Akash, the audio is now worse. Acha, so in trying to fix one person's problem, we ended up messing with others. किसी ने सीधा उठा के मैसेज कर दिया होगा कि कुछ ठीक नहीं है सिस्टम में. पहले क्या था वही करो यार, वो एक बच्ची का दिक्कत था, तुम लोग पूरा चेंज कर दिए हो. My voice is cracking up. I look like a teenager now or sound like a teenager. It was okay earlier. बताओ क्या था पहले, किस सेटिंग में था? -10 में, 20 में, ये ठीक था. अब बताओ, अब ठीक है? Now is it okay? Yeah, now I sound like my age? Okay, fine, ठीक. Okay. So that's about your textbook. Just clarifying one thing. So I have got some message earlier also. He said, as a part of foundation, do I teach answer writing actively or not? So ठीक है, this is a question every student has when they start off, and the older ones, they are smiling already. Okay, they know what the game is. Yes, I do teach answer writing. I discuss questions. हर topic के बाद में I tell you what question was asked. I also discuss some questions. कैसे लिखना है, क्या लिखना है, and you are encouraged to write answers on the questions I discuss. ठीक है? But my suggestion is do not go aggressively into answer writing right now. आप अगर पूरे हफ्ते में 1, 2, 3 भी लिख लो बहुत है. And you realize कि आप लिखोगे नहीं, ठीक है? So it's okay. I mean, and those right answers you can show it to me. I'll give you my feedback, whatever. But before the right answers, you must have content first. Okay? And the straight questions are not a problem. But most questions in UPSC, they ask interlinkages. They ask you to interpret some concept. So those take time. और धीरे धीरे आपको पकड़ में आएगा. What are the ways you must master it? So answer writing is part of the foundation, but your main answer writing starts once the foundation gets over. Yeah, can somebody please give us some space? I think. Yeah, ठीक है. Thank you. Don't worry, अभी crowded है ना, धीरे धीरे आप सब छट जाओगे. ठीक है? और फर्स्ट एक हफ्ता जोश रहता है, कि उसके बाद में मे बी थोड़ा लेजी होते हो, थोड़ा का समझ में आता है. Okay, so that's okay. You will all manage. किसी के लिए क्या करना पड़ता है? लाइव. हाँ बेटा, ये तो आगे आ जाओ. आप कभी आते हो, कभी नहीं आते हो, जब मूड बनता है आ जाते हो. और रहने दे यार, कंजेस्टेड हो जाता है. मेट्रो में कैसे आते हो? Online students will send. You send it on the Telegram, on the WhatsApp. ठीक है? You have your groups, उसमें डाल दो आप, no problem. अच्छा ठीक है, let's get on with this. In fact, we had a smaller room. Okay, then we shifted here. तो देखते हैं if we survive. Otherwise, again we'll shift, no problem. Okay. So answer writing, I said the older ones, जैसे आप लिखते आए हो लिखते रहो. Okay, जो नहीं लिख रहा है नहीं लिख रहा, कोई बात नहीं. The new ones, be patient. अभी आप concepts जानो, understand the terms, by heart the concepts, make your notes good, where required, update your current affairs. So abhi it's more important that you develop understanding, and you try to memorize the concepts. ये आपका focus है. आंसर राइटिंग आप लिखें, कोई बात नहीं, आई विल बी देयर गाइडिंग यू एज एंड व्हेन रिक्वायर्ड. ठीक है. So that was about the method. One of you asked me a question about one topic last class में कि सर सिलेबस में लिखा है बायोडाइवर्सिटी एंड सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट, इसको अलग अलग पढ़ें या कैन वी डू टुगेदर? So sustainable development as a concept I'll take up when I'm discussing regional planning. This is for the older students, okay, but for now you should look up. Now why should I stop you there? Aap open up your AI or pick up your YouTube, whatever. You should know what is this, kya concept tha. I have repeatedly referred to Rio Summit. Look up what Rio Summit is. You don't have to have a detailed thesis on this, but ये term क्या है पता होना चाहिए. But because these two terms are given together, you must tell us how about diversity and sustainable development are linked. So I'm discussing all the principles of ecology, the principles of the type of conservation, and the concept of acknowledging the rights of local population, the idea of wise use जो है, okay, all of that is sustainable development. ठीक है, but I think it's good strategy to go back and look up अलग से ये concept क्या है, किसने दिया था, a bit of history. In fact, I have a short video on Edukemy YouTube channel on this. Just type my name, sustainable development. 15 मिनट में I discussed broad heads में what the concept is. ठीक है. The screen isn't full. What does that mean? Then your setting आप ठीक करो इसको please. Meanwhile, let me try to zoom out. Does this look better now? Garima? Okay, ठीक है. So books बता दिया. Now let us write down the syllabus एक बार quickly. Oceanography का. You must all have a copy of the syllabus and previous year's questions. It will be posted on your Telegram group. Okay, soft copy. Take a print out like I have a spiral bound book बना लिया, आप भी वैसे कर लेना. And syllabus तो you should have it pasted on all your notebooks. Okay, take a print out and paste it there. ठीक है? So the syllabus I will put it on the screen. Yeah, write down the syllabus, all of you. So we have oceanography में it says temperature and salinity of the oceans. Temperature and write one below another. ठीक है, 1 2 3 4 listing करके. Temperature and salinity of the oceans. Then it says sequence में नहीं है, but it's okay. Marine resources, biotic, mineral, energy resources, coral reefs, waves, currents and tides. Coral reefs, waves, currents and tides. Then it says bottom topography of Atlantic, Indian and Pacific Oceans. The bottom topography of Atlantic, Indian and Pacific Oceans. Heat and salt budgets. Heat and salt budgets. Ocean deposits. Ocean deposits. Coral bleaching. Ocean deposits, coral bleaching. Sea level change, law of the seas, and marine pollution. Sea level change, law of the sea, and marine pollution. Okay? Now in physical geography, this is one of the easiest units. What they do is, they keep rotating questions between oceanography or biogeography. Okay, they keep on switching. Every year you will have a question on geomorphology pakka, you will have a question on climatology pakka, you will have one question on environment, or sometimes 2 or 3 questions on environment. Oceans and biogeography, they keep on switching. एक साल पूछ देगा soil profile और एक साल पूछेगा ocean currents. फिर एक पूछ देगा maybe something on deforestation. The next day they might ask something on ocean something. Okay, so and it's a very easy topic. And in fact, the entire syllabus for oceanography is almost GS. Okay, a bit more details, a bit more of you can say current linked here, but it's almost GS oceanography. What have I taught? No, Sneha, just starting off, Sneha. I'm just starting off. I have listed syllabus for all of you. Okay? So that's your syllabus. Now, broadly, if you look at oceanography, broadly syllabus जो है, so when I say oceans, what do I mean? This is the ocean floor, this is the rocks, on this we have water, plus the ocean can move, the ocean can churn. So oceanography ka one discussion is about the ocean rocks and ocean landforms, oceans and tectonics. Okay, ये एक part है. How is the ocean floor changing? When I say floor, I mean the base. इसका क्या composition है? ये कैसे change हो रहा है? How is it made? What are the landforms on this? Okay, this is the oceanic rocks, ocean landforms, and about ocean and tectonics. Tectonics is those large scale movements of the earth which can cause volcanism, earthquakes, which can cause some unique landforms like islands. This is one part. The second part syllabus is about the ocean waters. Ocean waters ke properties. Okay. Which includes ocean salinity, ocean temperatures, ocean density. It's about the ocean waters. The ocean as a rock is different, ocean as waters are different. Again, come here. Okay. So one can have 4 of you. Move in if you can, or one of you here can come in here. The ocean waters. The third component of oceanography is ocean motions. How is the ocean moving? Ocean motions include ocean currents, it includes tides, it includes waves. Okay? The ocean and ocean floor, ocean water के properties क्या है, and ocean movement क्या, dynamism. And all the 3 are linked. Some of this causes properties, the properties cause motions, it's all linked. The fourth part of the syllabus is ocean and resources. Okay, ocean resources, ocean and biota, oceans and energy resources, ocean and trade routes, okay, ocean resources. And the fifth part of ocean is oceans and environment issues. Oceans and environment issues. Say sea level rise हो गया, ocean pollution हो गया, loss of ocean biodiversity है, ocean warming is a problem. Okay, the marine heat waves. So these are the 5 broad heads of oceanography syllabus. Ocean and rocks, ocean waters properties, ocean motions, dynamism of the ocean waters, The fourth is ocean and resources, biotic resources, mineral resources, water as resource, oceans as trade routes, okay, and ocean and environment concerns, pollution, sea level rise, loss of ocean biodiversity, the problem of oceans and coastal erosion, whatever, part of environment issues. So, इस discussion में this resource thing and even dynamism wala part, okay, this is hardcore current affairs. So while I teach you concepts, you have to know some bit of current affairs also, what's happening in the oceans. Khaskar ocean and environment parts is lot of current affairs. Okay, so for current affairs, I'll tell you on some articles as and when I come up, I mention those articles. Apart from that, all the new and old students, you have subscriptions to Uki. This is our AI platform. उसमें geography के अंदर में you'll have ocean articles also. Okay, plus अलग से भी we have environment compilation current affairs. If you go to Edukemy website, there's one section called resources. Resources का tab है. In the resources tab, we have geography and environment current affairs. So we compile every 15-20 days, we compile all current affairs and put it there. Okay, but you can use Uki directly. Okay, you can type on the Uki ocean currents, कुछ मिल जाएगा. Ocean heat waves, कुछ मिल जाएगा. I'll show maybe in one of the classes. The older ones know this concept, no worries. This is your oceanography syllabus and okay, which is the more critical part in terms of current affairs. I can hear you, Neetu and Garima. Is it a problem for all of you? The screen size chota hai, it's about a setting from your end. Okay, you have to do the setting. It's not from my side. Okay, you can see your friends posting here. You have to change the ratio of the screen. Okay, or या फिर आप शायद phone में देख रहे हो, or sometimes when your data speed is low, it can blur. So it's about your router maybe. Om says it's clear, it's good. Shakir says good. So essentially it could be your router, your broadband connectivity. Yes, Muskan. Join from the Zoom browser, it could help you. Thanks. Okay, so that's oceanography. Okay. Now, I'll discuss some important concepts. To take a fresh page, important concepts. Okay, it's more of introduction to oceanography. We started your initiation classes about 20 odd days ago. Those who joined us then. Those were some discussions we had on the crust, landforms and the rest. Those who have not done that, you can rely on these discussions right now. It's very elementary, basic. We cannot teach everything from scratch, but I'll try covering so that you are a part of the discussions. Okay? Okay, okay, I'm happy it helps. Okay. Chalo, let's start off now. So, the first point is, oceans का मतलब क्या है? Ocean means the ocean floor and the ocean crust. जो rocks है, okay, जो base है ocean का, ocean floor and crust, and it also means the ocean waters and all that is related to it. When I say oceans, we are studying these two things broadly: the ocean floor and the ocean crust. Okay, the basin which has the water, and it also means ocean waters and all that is linked to water. So water के साथ में water properties हैं, water का movement है, water as resources हैं, and so on. Okay, so ocean means this. So one of the wrong notions, if you look at the earth here, there is earth here. Say if I blow up this, earth has what? Earth has large blocks of land. We call that as continents, and surface में the depressions. We call these as oceans. Then another block of large land, ये continent हो गया, and we have some depression. We call this as the oceans. So Earth's surface essentially is continents, and it is oceans. This is the continent part, and this is the ocean floor. This is the continent part, this is the ocean floor. The mistake बोलो या lack of knowledge earlier, we thought the oceans are extensions of continent. कि this is your large continent, say Asia or Africa, और यही continent जो है आगे जाकर ऐसे गड्ढा बन जाता है, and it accumulates water. So the rocks here were thought to be rocks here, and these rocks have depressions. So गड्ढा बन गया. A large depression is the ocean. A smaller one अगर यहाँ पर है, we said अच्छा ये तो lake है आपका. So lake here. Okay. So this was the old idea. Now we know, oceans and continents जो है, they are two different rocks completely. It's not the same thing. It's like I have a house. The house has tile floors. Okay. और बाहर जाकर you have your gate, and then you have your road. So road is not extension of the floor directly. This is tiles. This is bricks, concrete. Road is asphalt, pitch tar. Okay. So road and home floor जो है, it is not a natural extension. ये अलग अलग concepts है. Road बहुत अलग से बनता है and घर अलग से बनता है. तो वैसे ही सोचो आप. The continents and oceans are not extensions. ये बहुत अलग है. And the ocean floor has a different geological history. It has a different rock composition. It has a different way of how it formed and how it gets modified. And continents are different. And so what we have is Earth's outer layer. You all keep jotting as I speak. Online students, you all will keep jotting as I speak. When required, I'll dictate. The new students will get used to this process in a couple of days. Until then, try not to judge me by my handwriting. Okay, I am product of my years of education. उसको माफ कर दो. My teacher did not insist on it, but I am insisting. आप अपना handwriting सुधारो. ठीक है, otherwise teacher बन जाओगे. So Earth's outer layer तो क्या बोलते हैं? We call it as the crust. So Earth जो है, Earth is not one single rock. Earth has layers of rocks. It has layers of rocks. The minerals are different. Okay, the elements are different. So in the innermost one, I'm sure you all know about the core. Okay, and then there's some layer, we call it as the mantle, and the outermost is called as the crust. Okay, so Earth's outermost layer is called as crust, and this crust is of two types. We have oceanic crust and we have the continent crust. Okay, the outermost layer of the Earth is called as the crust. It is the thinnest layer. सबसे पतला लेयर जो है ये crust है. बाकी layers are much more thicker. They have a thickness, they have a radius. The deep inside, the outer one, think of an egg, and a very thin brittle layer called as the eggshell. Under egg का yolk है, the yellow part is like the core. The white part, the albumen, is like the mantle, and the thin shell is like the crust. So Earth's outermost is called crust, and the crust has two parts. It has oceanic crust and it has continent. अभी बताया आपको मैंने. I said, do not see these as same rocks. Do not see the oceans as extensions of continents. Okay, ये बहुत अलग rock है, ये बहुत अलग rock है. Okay, so our discussion point here is, okay, that the oceans are not extensions of the continents. Okay, sorry. Yeah, यहाँ पर the oceans are not the extensions of the continent. They are two different systems, different rocks and different properties. So if I look at the difference, okay, so we have oceanic crust. I can also refer to as oceanic lithosphere. थोड़ा सा अलग term है, but ठीक है. You can use it now itself. Where we have the continental crust and we have the continental lithosphere. Okay. Now this ocean crust, this is thin. Okay. It has thickness of about 1 kilometers. Sometimes it might be about 3 kilometers thick also. बहुत पतला है. Ocean crust is thin. The average thickness about 1 kilometer. In some places, it might be 2 or 3 kilometers thick. And the continents, these are thicker. They are thicker. Okay, they can be about 30 to 40 kilometers thick, and in some places they can be about 60 to 80 kilometers thick also. The continents are thicker, the oceans are thinner. ठीक है, so ऐसे diagram बनाया मैंने आपका यहाँ पर. The continents are thicker, the oceans are thinner. Okay, oceans, okay, are just about 1 kilometer thick. Continents, I said 30, 40, 60 kilometers, and as much as 80 also in some places. Okay. Then the ocean crust is made up of basalt rock. It is made up of basalt rock, and continents are made up of, okay, andesite rocks. They are made up of granite rocks. A very common rock of continents is diorite rocks. Okay, basalt जो है, we classify basalt as one category of rock called as mafic rock. Mafic rock का मतलब होता है it has iron and it has magnesium. The basalt is one type of a mafic rock, whereas andesite, A-N-D-E-S-I-T, andesite, a granite, a diorite, D-I-O-R-I-T, these type of rocks are called as felsic rocks. Okay, they will not have much of magnesium. They'll have more of silicon or silicates. Okay, so continents are felsic, oceans are mafic, continents are andesite rocks, granite rocks, diorite rocks, and oceans are basalt. अब जब आप basalt और mafic बोल देते हो, okay, there are three properties. It is softer, it will be denser, correct? Denser, it will be basic. Some properties, what we know as pH value of rocks, okay. Whereas these type of rocks जो हैं, they will be harder, they will be lighter, हल्का होगा, and they are relatively more acidic. The ocean crust is softer, ocean crust is denser, ज़्यादा भारी है, and oceans are more basic. The pH value is towards basic, and the felsic rocks are harder, they are light, हल्का है, lighter, and they are more acidic. They are more acidic. Basalt, these rocks, they can flow more easily when molten. जब आप मेल्ट कर दोगे ये आराम से बह जाएगा. Its viscosity is very less. Okay, basaltic rocks will flow very easily when molten, whereas continental rocks, when molten, these are more thicker. These are more viscous. Viscous का मतलब है it doesn't flow very easily. It's like oil is thick. Okay, oil is viscous. Okay, the felsic rocks when melt करोगे आप, they are more viscous, they are more thicker compared to the oceanic rocks. Okay, I think this part is fine, all of you. Okay, so अच्छा density जब कह ही रहे हैं, the density of oceans approximately about 3.5, and density of continents about 2.5. Okay, 2.5, no units because you're comparing with water. Water is far more, denser than continent rocks. Sorry, it's far more lighter. Okay, but comparison में, the continents are lighter than the oceans. The oceans are 3.5 and continents are 2.5. So the water का density 1 है, so continents are 2.5 times more dense. If ocean is 1, then oceans are 3.5 times more dense. Okay, that's why we don't have any units for comparison here. Okay, there's some facts here. So online, all able to note as I'm speaking, and this is, I repeat, more of GS content. I have not started your technical oceanography yet. All good? Offline, आप पेश रख पा रहे मेरे साथ में? And you have any problem, please raise your hand. I'll repeat, no problems. I'll repeat it. If you have doubts, ask me. But बस ये जानना है आपको. So if I draw this diagram, continents are thicker, oceans are thinner, the oceans are basalt, oceans are dense, oceans are basic, oceans when molten, okay, the rocks are more fluid, continents are harder, continents when molten, these are more, okay, viscous. ठीक है? अच्छा, now some important insights जो हैं, the ocean basalts are more fundamental rocks of Earth's crust. This fact you will remember. The more fundamental rocks of the Earth's crust are ocean basalts. कहना ये चाह रहे हैं that when Earth was evolving, the oceanic rocks were formed first. Continents बाद में आए. The continental rocks were formed from the oceans. जैसे कि think of simple life. What you have is the initiation of life. It's a embryo, a zygote. The zygote starts differentiating. It forms the fetus. The fetus is more like a lump of mass. Then slowly the fetus starts differentiating. फिर limbs बनता है, हाथ बन रहा है, organs बन रहा है, and then a baby is born. It all starts with one single cell or two cells, okay, and they form the initial cells and they start dividing. The fundamental of life, I go back to zygotes. तो वैसे सोचो आप. Okay, so oceans are more fundamental, and the continental crust, okay, was formed later by ocean basalts getting differentiated. The continent's crust was formed later, बाद में बना, was formed later by the ocean basalt. Ocean का जो basalt rock है, getting differentiated. This basically means what? कि वो अलग-अलग हो गया. Again, an example में think of milk from which we get ghee, right? So you milk and you start churning the milk. Okay, जो आप you are heating, boiling, it forms curd, फिर आप churn करो, उससे से निकलता है घी अलग से. Okay, so the milk has got differentiated into ghee. तो वैसे ही सोचो आप. Okay, there is some process by which the ocean का जो basalt है, it undergoes some reactions, some changes, and ocean basalt से ही निकल के आता है the andesitic rocks that make up the continent. So the technical word for this is the concept of ocean differentiation. You're right. There's a process we call as partial melting. So some of you have done these topics. Others, ultimately, you will do this also. So I'm just dropping the terms to you. The process called as partial melting that creates the continent rocks from the ocean basalts. तो हम इसको just कह सकते हैं the process of crustal differentiation, the crust getting separated, okay, starting from the basalts. Okay, so this is about the basic oceans का property. Now, जो earth का crust है, okay, it is part of a thicker layer called lithosphere. I am giving these concepts assuming you have not done geomorphology yet. ठीक है, तो just the terms that I need. There are a lot of deeper concepts. I'll come back afterwards. But ये terms जाने आप. What I'm saying is, Earth's का crust है. It's a part of a thicker layer called as the lithosphere. The example I give is, imagine wall has paint. The paint of the wall is part of a thicker layer that includes the plaster and the POP. Okay, so अगर this is your brick wall, जो ऊपर में एक layer of plaster है, और इसी के ऊपर में a very thin layer called as POP, a very thin layer called as paint. Okay, so वैसे the whole thing is the plaster and the paint together. So the crust is part of a thicker layer called as lithosphere. So हम draw कैसे कर रहे थे पहले? This is the continent here, and we have a thin layer called as ocean. But the fact is, these two are part of another thick layer. Okay, so this is a continent crust. This is the ocean crust. Okay, and this layer, पूरा यहाँ से यहाँ तक, is called as the lithosphere. Lithosphere का ये जो layer है, it has some other property, but the whole thing acts like one slab, lithosphere. And this lithosphere is again floating over another layer, and this is called as the asthenosphere. Asthenosphere. You all can keep sketching as I speak. So Earth's crust is part of a thicker layer called lithosphere, and the lithosphere floats over another layer called as asthenosphere. It floats over a layer called as asthenosphere. Ocean crust is younger than लोकेंद्र क्यों छेड़ रहे हो मुझे बताओ कौन यंग है कौन बाद में आया अभी छोड़ दो उसको हम थोड़ी पढ़ा रहे हैं आपको अभी जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी. Okay, सो यंग है नहीं है, छोड़ दो अभी, आप इतना ही पॉइंट लिखो अभी आप, या और फाइन ऑल ऑफ यू. सो आई जस्ट डिफरेंशिएटेड द क्रस्ट फर्स्ट, कि ये क्रस्ट और ये क्रस्ट अलग है. देन आई एम सेइंग दैट दिस क्रस्ट आल्सो इज अ पार्ट ऑफ बिगर थिकर लेयर. लिथोस्फीयर का जो एवरेज थिकनेस है, okay, this is about 100 किलोमीटर्स. उसके बाद एस्ट्रोनॉस्फीयर है, दिस इज अबाउट 300 350, कहीं कहीं पर 400 किलोमीटर का थिकनेस है. Okay, so we have crust, okay, the whole thing called lithosphere floating over the astronosphere. Like, so I'm using a word, floats over. It has a meaning. It floats over the astronosphere. Okay. So now what we have is, so I'm drawing again. So this is a continent with its ocean, another huge continent with another ocean basin depression. Then we have another continent here, ocean here, continent here, and this whole thing is part of a thicker layer called as lithosphere, and this is ultimately floating over a layer called as astronosphere. Yahan tak theek hai all of you? Right? We have a layer called as astronosphere. ये जो रॉक है is called as, this is the upper part of upper mantle. This is the continental crust, this is the oceanic crust. Okay, so this is the lithosphere layer, and we have the astronosphere underneath. यहां तक ठीक है? Now we have one more thing here. जो ये lithosphere है, ये फिर continuous नहीं है. It is broken somewhere here. ये पार्ट अलग है, ये पार्ट अलग है. Broken somewhere here. ये पार्ट one part. Broken यहां पर, broken here. Okay, broken here. This is all. Okay, so this is one block. ये एक और ब्लॉक है, ये एक और ब्लॉक है, ये एक और ब्लॉक है. The lithosphere is broken into segments, टूट गया पीस होकर, and each of this is called as plates. Next point, the lithosphere is not a continuous layer. The lithosphere is not a continuous layer. It is broken into discrete segments. It is not a continuous layer. It is broken into segments or pieces called as plates. We call these as the lithospheric plates. Each segment is called as a lithospheric plate. इसका वही एनालॉजी है. Imagine you have an eggshell, or eggshell is cracked. So each piece of eggshell is called as a plate. So if I draw this as a perspective diagram, आप imagine करो ऐसे, this is the thick lithosphere, और ये ऐसे pieces में टूट गया है. One block, another block, a third block, a fourth block. Each of this called as plates, lithospheric plates. Lithospheric plates. The lithosphere is not a continuous segment, a continuous layer नहीं है. It is broken into discrete pieces called as plates, and these plates are known to interact. Okay, ये plates जो है, because remember I talked about that these plates are floating over astrosphere. When they float, they'll rub, they'll collide, they can break and move apart. Okay, the lithospheric plates. Okay, so यहाँ पर point आएगा. The lithospheric plates are known to interact. The lithospheric plates are known to interact, okay, creating landforms, and associated phenomena. Creating landforms and associated phenomena. Okay. So iska again, a lot of details on this in geomorphology, but I do not need all the details. हमें क्या जानना है? That on the ocean floor, which is, now you know it is part of the ocean lithosphere, you know this is ocean basalt. On the ocean floor, there are only two types of ocean plate interaction. On the ocean floor, there are only two types of ocean plate interactions. Please, why मत पूछना अभी, ठीक है? It's too early to know why things happen. That's part of geomorphology. अभी आप बस जानो interaction हो रहा है. Okay, थप्पड़ पड़ गया. अब क्यों पड़ा थप्पड़? Okay, that white part will come later on. Okay, there are only two interactions on the ocean floor. One is the ocean divergence. The ocean plates are moving apart. ये दूर जा रहे हैं. Ocean divergence. The ocean floors are moving apart. And what this is called as, is called as sea floor spreading. All the new students don't get anxious by the answers your older friends are given. यकीन मानो कुछ नहीं पता. देखिए अभी बोल दूंगा, लिख के दिखाओ एक पेज, हाथ पैर ठंडे हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, तो आपको भी मौका मिलेगा after 1 month. You also can tell the words for the new students and we can scare them then. ठीक है, so I know कौन कितने पानी में है, so don't get scared. बोलने दो, कोई बात नहीं. Atmosphere is, yes, the thickness, Riya, not from the top, the thickness of the crust. Diagram कहाँ गया? Yeah, so this thickness. Riya, this thickness is 300, not from here. Okay, from here to here. This is 300, 350, 400 का thickness. ठीक है? Okay, fine. So fine. And older ones, if you know, please tell me. No problem. I also feel nice कि अच्छा पढ़ाया जो पढ़ाया. Okay, and I will not ask you any answer writing. डर रहे हो आप? फायदा ही नहीं, आप लिखोगे नहीं, मुझे पता है. दांत, हाथी के दांत होते हैं. सब बता दो, लिख देंगे, असाइनमेंट कर देंगे, 15 आंसर लिखा के थका देंगे. Okay, it's called as the process of sea floor spreading. Now, when this happens, there are 4 things happening. One is there will be volcanic eruptions, and these eruptions, the lava बाहर आएगा, it always will be basalt lava. Ocean floor is moving away, कुछ lava बाहर आ रहा होगा. The lava is always basaltic, and linked to this will be a continuous mountain ridge बनेगा. Ridge is a long elongated mountain, and we call this as MOR, M-O-R. It's a MOR system, mid-ocean ridge. MOR is a short form of mid-ocean ridge. So ocean divergence, where the ocean plates are moving apart, is a process called as sea floor spreading, and the sea floor spreading is linked to volcanic eruptions, and the lava coming out always will be basalt lava, and this lava accumulates as a continuous mountain ridge called as MOR. So MOR, okay, number one, is always on the ocean floor. MOR is always where the oceans are moving apart. The MOR is always volcanic, and the MOR will always have basaltic rocks. The MOR bolte you should know 4 things, 5 things. As when I say a river valley is cut by a river. A river valley will be a V-shaped valley. A river valley is an erosional feature. कुछ terms बनते हैं river valley के. वैसे when I say MOR, I mean it's a landform because of oceans are moving apart. MOR is a volcanic accumulation. A MOR is always a basaltic lava, and it's always on the ocean floor. The question is, ये बनेगा नहीं continents में? No. Continents will not have MOR accumulations. अगर MOR बना मतलब ocean floor हो गया वो. Okay, that's the important thing. And MOR अगर है, okay, MOR will have a continuous axial rift valley. Okay, एक crack होगा on the MOR. The MOR will have a continuous axial, along the axis, axial rift valley. Okay, and this valley is actually a example of what's called as a tensile fault. It's a normal fault. Look now within brackets. It's an example of a tensile fault or a normal fault. Example of a tensile fault or a normal fault. And the 4th point is, okay, the MOR location बोल लो या ocean divergence location बोल लो. The MOR location or the ocean divergence location is the location of ocean crust creation. It is the location of ocean crust creation. The MOR location or the ocean divergence location is the location of ocean crust creation. Within bracket, it will have the youngest ocean crust. It will have the youngest ocean crust. So what I'm saying is कि अगर ये ocean floor है, a thin ocean floor, this is basalt, ये basalt है. By some mechanism, the floor is moving apart, अलग-अलग हो रहा है. So lava will come out, interior से will come out and accumulates as a type of basalt accumulation. So if this is the entire stretch, अब ठीक है? Okay. So the ocean floor is moving away. ये divergence है. ये इधर जा रहा है, ये इधर जा रहा है. Because of this lava coming out, this is the MOR. And this MOR is also basalt. The ocean floor is also basalt. And floor के ऊपर में crack है ऊपर. This crack is the axial rift valley. Example of a normal fault. ठीक है? तो ocean floor में जहां भी more है, it basically means the area, the ocean is, okay, breaking apart and lava coming out and forming this elongated system. Ocean floor में these are some of the longest landforms. Okay, estimates tell us this length could be around 60-70,000 kilometers across the oceans. ये Pacific में भी है, Atlantic Ocean में भी है. It's a part of the Southern Oceans, part of Arctic Ocean also some. It is in the Indian Ocean also. हर oceans में ये है. The cumulative length of this is, I said, 60 to 70,000 kilometers. The longest feature of the Earth's surface, the longest features of the Earth's crust are the ocean moor systems. Okay? Don't draw this, but for a quick, understanding कहाँ पर है, so that's North America, South America, Africa, okay? So the moor system यहाँ पर है, इधर जाके ऐसे है, इधर जाके ऐसे कुछ branches हैं. It goes on this side and becomes parts of Pacific. It's a continuous system. Okay, this is Australia like this. Okay, it goes here into Pacific system. It's a continuous system. ये पूरा moor है. The whole thing is moor. Okay, dividing Atlantic into two parts, dividing Indian Ocean into two parts. Okay, जैसे Pacific में ये south वाले part में, not in the northern part. So all of these are the moors of the ocean floor. It's a continuous system across the oceans of the earth. Okay? The most impressive volcanic accumulation on the earth's surface is the moor system. Is it okay, all of you here? Any doubts about the moor and the diagrams? Online, is it okay? Yeah, it's a location of the crust creation. So don't say crust creation, you can specify and say the location of ocean crust creation. Location of ocean crust creation. बताओ, any doubts on this? Anybody? So if I quickly revise the points, oceans are part of ocean crust. The ocean crust is different from the continent's crust. The ocean crust is basalt, it is thinner, it is softer, and it is basic in nature. The ocean crust is part of a thicker layer called as lithosphere, and the lithosphere floats over the asthenosphere. The lithosphere is not continuous, it is broken into segments called as plates, और ये जो plate margins होते हैं, there's some interactions going on. So on the ocean floor we have only two types of, or two broad heads of ocean interactions. One is the interaction when the oceans are moving apart. Okay, we call these as divergent boundaries, or ocean floor are diverging away. दूर जा रहे हैं. And because of that, there are certain features. One important feature is moor, and moor का ये सारे properties हैं. Take all of you. अच्छा, along with moor, this one important feature is moor. Along with moor, एक और feature है ocean floor में. Okay, the moors are cut into segments by transverse faults, also called as transform faults. The mores are cut by, they're cut into segments. Into segments by transverse faults, also called as transform faults. Also called as transform faults. Everywhere, har jagah. What I'm saying is, look up now if we're done. One more additional feature. The mores are again not continuous. The mores are cut. The mores are spliced. The mores are distinct segments again. Okay. So if you diagram dekhoge, I do the simple one. I've drawn the more like this. But the fact is, this more is again cut. ऐसे किसी ने काट दिया है, ऐसे कट गया है, ऐसे कट गया है. तो ये पूरा more जो है is not continuous. The mores look like this. Say this is a more segment. This is another more segment. Another more segment. Can you all imagine this? So rather than the more being one continuous ridge like this, somebody has cut the more into slices and those pieces have moved. Okay, so if I put this in perspective, आप इसको ऐसे इमेजिन करो. अब ठीक है? ओशन फ्लोर एंड द मोर कंटिन्यूअस नहीं है, किसी ने ऐसे ऐसे काट दिया. Okay, again it's like think of a long rod cut into pieces and those pieces have been displaced. So this cut is called as the transform faults. One segment of more, another part of more, and so on. We call this as transform faults. So if you look from top, आप ऊपर से देख रहे हो, so ऊपर देखोगे continuous more is this. In reality ऐसा नहीं है. There's one piece here, ऐसे कुछ कट गया है, ऐसे यहां आ गया, एक और ऐसे कट गया है, फिर यहां आ गया, एक और ऐसे कट गया है. Can you imagine this? ये continuous more है, the continuous axial rift valley. Okay, but ये ऐसे ऐसे कट गया है. So these are called as the transform faults. The mores are not continuous linear landforms. Okay, they are cut by transform faults. All good? So that's about transverse faults. This is one type of interaction. Ocean-ocean divergence. The plates are moving apart. The second type is the ocean collisions. The ocean collisions. बेटा पूरा बंद तो ना करो, छेड़ दिया आपने. पकड़ लेगा. You all know who did it, right? बाद में घेर लेना इसको बाहर. अब सॉरी बोल दिया, छोड़ देना. इतना देर क्यों किया? थोड़ा सा मैं उधर जाऊं, उधर लिखूंगा. अच्छा ऐसे आपने हुक्म किया सर, कुछ भी कर डालेंगे. I used to have a hostel mate. Roommate तो नहीं था, thankfully. Hostel mate. 24 hours. The bugger will put on shoes. And back in 80s, 90s में, okay, तो sports shoes was big deal. Okay, हमेशा पहना रहेगा जूता. क्लास जाए, सो जाए, वॉशरूम जाए, शूज. What's the story behind this? मैं पैसा दिया है. सेम वे सर उधर करो, पैसा दिया है, ठीक है, सारा वसूल कर रहा है, ठीक. Pranav, you can't fight some logic, no? ठीक है, वसूल हो रहा है, वो भी पैसा दिया. अच्छा ठीक है, ओके ओके. So we have taken care of the divergent one. The next is ocean collisions. So this is one plate, and I discussed the plates are moving away. The second case में these are two plates and the plates are moving into one another. They're colliding. Okay. In the collision, there are two possibilities. That this is ocean crust और ये भी ocean crust है. और एक केस में क्या होगा, ocean crust है और एक जो है वो continent. This is called as ocean collision. This is called as ocean continent collision. So this is one. This is one I said divergence. The oceans are moving away. This is two. This is convergence. In convergence there are two possibilities. Yes, ocean collisions and ocean continent collisions. इसको ऐसे लिखो notes में. You have to have a paragraph on this. Like I said, all of this will come back again in geomorphology. You'll know much more in detail. I just want to touch on some concepts so that I can explain the ocean flow to all of you. ठीक है? जब भी collision होगा, either this or this, you'll have one very important feature called as a trench. मत करो, तेज करो उसको. सबको ठंड लग रही है, तो मैं कुछ बोलूंगा नहीं, ठीक है, समझ गए राइट? तेज करो. The only option is you move into some other hot group. ठीक है, is commenting on you guys. ठीक है, ठंडे हो. Okay. So when this or this, either ocean or ocean continent, one feature is called as trench. There's one feature we will have volcanic eruptions. Remember, more में eruption हो रहा है, right? We have volcanic eruptions here also. And what type of lava coming out here? Basalt. इस केस में लावा जो आएगा, it will always be andesite. It's a rule. Whenever we have collisions, ocean या ocean continent, one important feature is called as trench formation, and you always will have volcanic eruptions which have basalts. And andesites. And these interactions, okay, these are more violent. They're more violent. These are more powerful and destructive. जहां भी volcanism होगा, you'll have some disruptions, but the basalt is not as destructive because you said this. Basalt is more fluid, वो बह जाएगा आराम से. It is less viscous. it will not have resistance to flow. Andesite is thick. A thick one while flowing can have more powerful explosions. Okay, so whenever I have convergence, this or this, there's a trench formation, there are volcanic eruptions which are andesite, and these eruptions are always very violent and very powerful. And the reason being is that andesite is a thick lava. It's a viscous lava. It will not move very easily. It's like, you know, a road highway and the cars moving very, very fast. Okay, very smoothly moving. या फिर a highway with lot of congestion, jam हो रहा है. Jam होगा, the accidents are again more likely because of packing. Okay, so these are more violent, they're more powerful, they're more destructive eruptions. Now this trench, the trench है, this is a deep depression. Trench क्या होता है? It's a deep depression. Okay, and ये सारा कुछ हो रहा है for a process called as subduction. This is a process called as जैसे कि in the ocean divergence, मैंने वहां क्या बोला था? The process is called as sea floor spreading. याद आ रहा है? In this case, the process का नाम क्या है? The process was called as sea floor spreading. इस केस में हम क्या बोलते हैं? It is subduction. In subduction, what happens is the ocean crust, okay, this is forced to sink into the mantle. Okay, in the subduction, the ocean crust बोल लो या ocean lithosphere बोल लो, it is forced to subduct into the mantle or sink into the mantle. It is forced to sink into the mantle. So what I mean by this, I'm drawing here. So this is the ocean floor. This is another ocean floor. They come and collide. One of them will enter the mantle like this. This is called as subduction in the OO type. और ये जो गैप है इसको बोलते हैं ट्रेंच. The trench is a deep gap. It's a deep depression, a deep gap, because the ocean is going inside. ये ocean है और ये continent है. In this, when I have collisions, the ocean goes in again, the continent is here, again this is a deep gap. It's called as a trench, and this is called as the process of subduction. ये भी है, ये भी subduction. This is one type, this is type 1, this is type 2. Ocean collision, ocean continent collision. In both cases I will have trenches and the ocean is going inside the mantle, called as subduction process. ठीक है? So write 2 lines on this. लिख लो आप. I'm dictating 2 lines here right now. In collisions of lithospheric plates, in collisions of lithospheric plates which involve ocean lithosphere, in collision of lithospheric plates that involve ocean lithosphere, the ocean floor will always get subducted into the mantle. the ocean floor will always get subducted, forced inside, subducted into the mantle. Such subduction will create number one, trenches, which actually are gaps. They'll create trenches. Trenches होते क्या हैं? They actually are gaps at the location of subduction. They look like valleys, they look like depressions, but they actually are gaps. Gaps at the location of subduction. Number two, there are andesitic eruptions. And number three, there will be scraping, S-C-R-A-P-P-I-N-G. There will be scraping, S-C-R-A-P-P-I-N-G. Scraping is like shaving. The scraping of ocean floor, there will be scraping of ocean floor, followed by the sediments of the ocean floor. There will be scraping of the ocean floor, followed by the sediments of the ocean floor getting plastered near the trench. Getting plastered near the trench. Put a dash, hyphen. The sediments are called accretionary prism. A-C-C-R-E-T-I-O-N-A-R-Y. Accretionary prism, P-R-I-S-M. They're called as accretionary prism. Okay. तो ये जो नीचे जा रहा है, the sediment जो यहाँ पर है, यहाँ पर shaving, scraping होगा, and the sediments get accumulated here. Okay, because scraping action, the sediments will get plastered near the trench. The example I give is, imagine you apply a layer of say foam and you are shaving with a blade. Okay, so think of continents here, ocean here. The ocean is thinner, continents thicker, is going down. So scraping here, because scraping, the edge में क्या होगा यहाँ पर sediments will pile up here. Okay, if the both are oceans, then scraping along this, the ocean edge will have sediments. Can you all imagine these two action here? The sediments. So if this is a slab A, this is slab B. This is ocean floor X, continent crust called Y. The sediments of the subducting slab, the sediments of A will get plastered on B. Like the sediments of X will get plastered on Y. Example, I say you apply foam on the on one surface, you take a blade, you scrape it. Okay, there's a scraping action going on. The scraping, the sediments of the subducting one gets plastered on the other slab, and we call the sediments as accretionary prism. Okay, this is what ultimately become mountains along the edge of the continents. Okay, so okay, subduction होगा. Subduction is a type of force sinking inside the mantle, and linked to this will be trenches, volcanism, and also the sediments getting plastered called as accretionary prism. ठीक है, put a star mark and write down. Ocean divergence is creation of ocean basalt floor, whereas ocean subduction is the destruction of ocean lithosphere. Ocean divergence or the sea floor spreading is the creation of the floor. यहाँ बनता है floor, and जहां पर subduction हो रहा है, whether it is OO or OC, you'll have destruction of the ocean lithosphere. Because mantle में जा रहा है तो क्या होगा? It go inside, it melts and gets destroyed. Okay, so the divergent locations are the crust creation, the subduction locations are crust destruction. Okay, so this is the base concept I need for discussing the ocean floor topography, and the rest I will elaborate on eventually. Ankita, what did you miss? Yes, Saurav, but those terms I explain later on. Ocean floor will always subduct. I don't remember what I exactly said. Basically, when there is collision happening, the ocean floor will always go inside the mantle. Okay, and because of this, there is a trench formation, there is volcanism, and there is accretionary prism. Three things linked to any subduction. Now, बताओ, any doubts on this, anybody? Any doubts? हाँ. Subduction हो रहा है. Collide. हाँ, तो वो process called as partial melting. अभी भाई मत पूछना. अभी चुपचाप याद रख लो. There's a process called partial melting. Okay, we won't enter that right now. And just know that there's a process happening where the rocks get converted. वो change हो जाता है. अभी उतना ही रखो. Anybody else? Any doubts? Anybody? Any queries here? So I'll quickly show it to you. Okay, कहाँ पर कैसा है. So on the map, more there is an Atlantic central more, there is an Indian Ocean central more, and in the Pacific Ocean it is in the south eastern side. Okay, Atlantic Ocean में कहां पर है? एकदम सेंटर पे. Indian Ocean में कहां पर? यहां पर भी सेंटर है. In the Pacific it is in the south eastern side. South eastern side. So I have drawn this for you. Atlantic Ocean center में है. By the way, I presume you know ये Atlantic Ocean है. Okay, South America, North America, Africa, Eurasia. ठीक है, नहीं पता है तो no problem. Okay, जाना था कभी ना कभी. Okay, आपका शुभ मुहूर्त आज है तो ठीक है. There is no shame in not knowing, but there is shame in not trying to learn as it is taught. अगर नहीं पता है तो पूछ लो. Okay. So between those two continents, the ocean is Atlantic Ocean. The India southern part is Indian Ocean. The rest is Pacific. तो Atlantic Ocean में अभी सेंटर में है. ये Indian Ocean है. इसमें भी ऑलमोस्ट सेंटर में है. इन द पैसिफिक साइड इट इज ऑन द साइड. नॉर्थ में नहीं है, साउथ में, साउथ ईस्टर्न साइड में वी हैव इन द पैसिफिक ओशन. ठीक है, so that's one fact. Then Okay. That's one. Then the ocean collision जो है, okay, this is predominantly in the Western Pacific Ocean. Northern Hemisphere. O collision is along the Western Pacific Ocean, along Japan coast, along Philippines coast, along Japanese coast, and along the Philippines coast. A ocean collision. So ये दिखाना है. So India से Malaysia, Vietnam, China, Korea, Kamchatka, Sumatra, Java Islands, New Guinea Island, that's Australia, Equator, okay, Pacific Ocean. The Moore system is here. ये ऐसे Moore system यहाँ पर है. ये transform faults है. इधर चला जाएगा, and on this side go this side. These are the islands of Japan, Philippines. So along this line here, अच्छा यहाँ पर भी we have got some islands here. Along this, along this, along this, along this, यहाँ पर है trenches. ठीक है. It goes further on. ये ऐसो के ऐसे आ जाता है. Okay, but ठीक है, you can know this for now. This is ocean part here, ocean part here colliding. Ocean part here, ocean part here colliding. Ocean part here, ocean here colliding. Okay, this is the ocean is moving away. ये divergent boundary है, moving away. And these are the collision boundaries. Ocean, ocean, colliding. Ocean, ocean. So I mentioned Western Pacific. You also add Northern Pacific. So where all do we have the collisions? We have in the Western Pacific, along Japanese island, Philippines island, and in the Northern Pacific. यहाँ पर एक island है called as Aleutian Islands. यहाँ पर भी you have the collision boundaries. Good, bad, ugly, keep drawing. Okay, there you understand the ratios, you can draw better, but for those first time you keep sketching this. Prasanjit, those questions बाद में अभी बस I mentioned the ocean will subduct, that's all. Which one, why, will come back afterwards. Trenches. These lines are the locations of trenches. So we have a trench here called as Aleutian Trench. This is called as Japan Trench. This is called as Mariana Trench. वैसे Philippines Trench है. This is called as the Tonga Trench. जहां पर भी subduction है, you'll have a trench. Okay, the trenches of Pacific on the western side and on the northern side. Aleutian Trench, Japan Trench, Philippines Trench, the Tonga, यहाँ पर Tonga Islands हैं, the Tonga Trench. Okay, locations where the oceans are colliding. Quickly, all of you done? All done? And on the eastern side, यहाँ पर you have ocean continent collisions. ये भी ocean and continent. तो यहाँ पर भी you'll have trenches. तो ये trenches है, ये trenches है, यहाँ पर ऐसे trench है. Okay. The next point लिखो आप. You wrote OO collision on the western side. यहाँ पे लिखो next point is OC collisions. ये कहां पर है? On the eastern Pacific. Either say East Pacific or say west of North and South American coast. एक ही बात है. You take a reference of the oceans. This is Pacific. Pacific East में बोलो या फिर North America, South America के West Coast में बोलो, whatever. So this is on the Eastern Pacific along the western coasts of North and South America. Along the western coasts of North and South America. Okay. So यहाँ पर जो है you'll have trenches along the coasts. Wale trenches are along the islands, the coasts of the continents. यहाँ केस में these are trenches along the coast of the islands, not the same thing. Japanese island है उसके coast में. Okay, this is Japanese islands, Japanese trench, Philippines island, Philippines trench, or Mariana trench, the Aleutian islands and Aleutian trench. This is North American continent. Okay, this is the South American continent. The trenches are along the coast of the continents. And examples of this, we have California trench, we have Middle America trench, we have Atacama, or also called as Peru-Chile trench. Along California, North America में California trench. Along Mexico is called as Middle American trench. And along South America we have Atacama, ATACM, Atacama trench, or also called as Peru-Chile, CHILE, Peru-Chile trench. Yes, Aditya, correct. So for those of you uninitiated, okay, so this is Mexico. यहाँ पर this is Mexico here, and this is California, state of California, US. This is the country called Peru, and this is called as Chile. So along Peru-Chile trench, Mexican or Middle American trench, California and Californian trench. Okay? Is it okay all of you here? Middle America is nothing but largely Mexico. California is North America, and this is South America. Check all of you. So what we otherwise discuss across 3-4 classes in geomorphology, I try summarizing the relevant part, that's all. Okay, that you have some lead over, okay, what I'll teach you next as a part of ocean floor details. So, what you know is ocean basalt, you know about ocean lithosphere, you know about mores, transform faults, subduction, you know about trenches, and you know about the locations of where they are. ठीक है? बताओ any questions on this part? You want to revise once? अब देखो, अगर पूछना है clarify करो. Online is this fine? Yes, yes, Aditya, correct. ये सारा जो है, okay, so volcanoes here, all volcanoes here, andesite, ये सारा collision boundaries है. So this is what's called as the ring of fire, correct? तो ये ऐसे होकर it becomes the Pacific ring of fire, a zone of intense earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, okay, tsunami vulnerabilities, a zone of tectonic instability is called as the ring of fire. Along the Pacific edge एक ring बन रहा है. Okay, yes, right. So square कर देना. Then add here that the Pacific Ocean margins with its convergent and subduction interaction has violent volcanoes and hence called the Pacific ring of fire. लिख लो. The Pacific Ocean margins with its convergent and subduction interactions. The Pacific Ocean margins with its convergent collision and subduction interactions has violent earthquakes, volcanoes and earthquakes. Has violent volcanoes and earthquakes and hence called the Pacific ring of fire. Has violent volcanoes and earthquakes and hence called as the Pacific ring of fire. What's what? With its convergent collision, convergent and subduction interactions. ये जहां वही होगा जहां पर ocean is going inside the mantle. Convergent and subduction interactions has violent volcanoes and earthquakes and is called as the Pacific ring of fire. Ankush will not go that deep. अभी इतना काफी है. I'm sure you have seen a massive earthquake this time, right? Venezuela के part में हुआ था. Of course, Venezuela earthquake is not linked to Pacific Ocean directly, but that zone is vulnerable. Okay, Venezuela, South America, Caribbean plate. Okay, so that area has, yeah. Philippines में है, Japan में है, but Venezuela was very very bad. Okay, a country where nothing is going right for them, right? It is unfortunate. कुछ geopolitical है, कुछ tectonic natural है. Okay, environmental issues hai. Okay, so okay, resource curse, yes, resource curse and some bit of bullying. Okay, now live with it. Okay, yeah. This is your pacific ring of fire. Is it okay, all of you? All good? Okay. Now take a fresh page. Okay. Give heading. Ocean bottom relief. Ocean bottom relief. Short में OBR बोलते हैं. The word relief basically means topography. The ocean bottom relief or ocean bottom topography. ठीक है? I can move on now. Okay, now. So what we know is the ocean floor is part of the ocean basalt crust. I'm summarizing and will develop. The ocean floor is part of the ocean basalt crust. Very different from the continental crust. The ocean floor is part of ocean basalt crust and is different from the continent's crust. The ocean floor can be divided into ocean margins, ocean deeps, and abyssal plains and more. आप ओशन फ्लोर को 3 पार्ट में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं. Okay, into ocean margins, into ocean deeps, and abyssal, ABYSSAL. Abyssal word means very, very deep. Abyss means a bottomless pit. Okay, abyssal plains and the more. ये जो division है, this was given by 2 scholars called Thurman and Turgillo. Divide the oceans into 3 broad zones. Okay, the ocean margins, the deeps, abyssal plains, and the more. The more system is, now you know what the mountains are. Turgillo, 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 Thurman and Turgillo. ये जो ocean margins हैं, it includes the continental shelf, it includes the continental slope and the continental rise. The margin includes 3 things: the continental shelf, the continental slope, and the continental rise. Okay. So I'm drawing a representative diagram here. So say continent, ये वाला continent है. That's your ocean. Ocean, we have trenches. You could have ocean like continents here again. This is the continent crust. This is the oceanic crust. Okay. This is the ocean waters. These are the zones. So this is the margins. This is the abyssal plains, and this is the trench. Okay. ये तो पूरा ocean basin हो गया. Ocean basin में this part is the margin part, and this is the ocean floor. Subducts here, और ये trench. ठीक है. So ocean margins में कौन से rocks हैं? What rock is this one? Andesite. Continent rocks. ठीक है. Ocean is a basin. Ocean basin has margins में continent rocks, and the floor is ocean basalt. So technically speaking, the margins are not a part of the ocean crust. When I say oceans, I mean the depression with waters. Okay? So margin is essentially the edge of the continent. So if I exaggerate this further, so continents ये ऐसे होगा. This is the continent here, this is the ocean here, and this is the ocean water. There is a flatter part which is more gentler, a steep part and a transition part. Okay. This is called as the shelf, the steep part, and this is called as the slope. The transition one is called as continental rise, and rise के beyond जो है, this is the ocean basalt floor. This is the ocean crust, this is the continental crust. Almost 70-80% ocean is this. Okay. 15 से 20% जो है वो margins है. Margin is technically not a part of the ocean crust, but part of the ocean like a basin. ये पूरा ocean basin बन जाएगा आपका. Is the diagram fine, all of you? More elaborate one, this is the general sketch. तो यहाँ का जो details हैं, I have drawn here now. So we start off. Ocean margins. Ocean margins. This is structurally a part of the continent's crust. हम ocean margin कह तो रहे हैं, but in terms of rocks, when I say structure, I mean rocks. I mean the composition of that layer. उसमें क्या minerals हैं? So structurally, it is part of the continent's crust, not oceans. And it has 3 parts: continental shelf, it has continental slope. The shelf है, this is very gentle, you can say almost flat, a slope of less than 1 degrees. It is gentle, almost flat, a slope of less than 1 degrees. It accumulates continent sediments, it accumulates continents, sediments. The shelf is shallow. Okay. And the shelf is up to water depth of 200 meters. It is shallow waters, and shallow waters up to 200 meters depth. ये जो शेल्फ है ये शैलो वाटर्स हैं और यहां पर जो है दिस इज 200 मीटर का डेप्थ. इसके बियॉन्ड द डेप्थ इंक्रीजेस. सो फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर दिस इज ऑल शैलो वाटर. Shallow water is also called as the photic zone. Sunlight can penetrate here. Shallow waters, this is in the photic zone. In the photic zone up to a water depth of 200 meters. So because sunlight is there, sediments are there. Okay, so this area is very high biological productivity. This is a very high biological productivity zone. Lot of life forms, coral reefs hain, you've got marine fishes. Okay, along the tidal regions mangrove forest hoga. It's a very high productivity zone. Lot of biological activities going on. Zone. This area, okay, it has oil and gas resource. Almost 70-80% of the world's oil and gas इस शेल्फ एरिया से आता है. It's a productivity zone biologically and also very important in terms of energy resource. जितने भी मेजर इंडिया में फॉर एग्जाम्पल द बॉम्बे हाई इज ऑन द शेल्फ. द गल्फ ऑफ मेक्सिको इन द यूएस ये भी शेल्फ पार्ट है. जो नॉर्थ सी का पार्ट है इन यूरोप वो भी शेल्फ का पार्ट है. द पर्शियन गल्फ वो भी शेल्फ का पार्ट है. Okay, so shelf regions are a very important source of the world's oil and gas resources. Okay, across Venezuela का भी shelf का part में है. Bering Sea also has along the shelves of Arctic Ocean. Okay, so most of the oil gas in the world comes from the continental shelf. Because of marine organisms, oil gas कहां से आता है? Oil gas आता है from the marine organism which have died and which have accumulated. जहां पर ज्यादा biological activity है, okay, that's where they are accumulated. ठीक है? Okay, now यही shelf में, in the shelf, again the relatively more shallow areas are called as they're called as banks. On the shelf, the relatively more shallow parts are called as banks. So ये continent है, ये shelf है, इस shelf में ही थोड़ा और shallow part है, थोड़ा और shallow part है, and then probably the slope here, and this is the ocean waters. Can you all imagine here? This platform type where the water becomes more shallow, ये platform type जहां पर becomes more shallow, इसको बोलते हैं banks. जितना shallow होगा more sunlight. Okay, this area will have again lot of fishing resources. So the more shallow part of banks, and banks are important for fishing. Yes. They're important for, इसमें कोई पैराग्राफ राइटिंग नहीं है, सीधा पॉइंट वाइज. 1 2 3 4 points, you keep jotting down as I'm discussing. और एग्जाम में भी ऐसे लिख के आना. Okay, you have to write more, you have to demonstrate more. Okay, this is not a typical language वाला too much of paragraph लिखना नहीं है. Use small summarizations, diagrams में you are done. The more shallow part are called as banks, important for fishing. Okay, you remember two very important banks. One is along Canada coast. It's called as Grand Banks. Grand Banks is off Canada coast. There's an island called as Newfoundland Island off Canada coast around Newfoundland Island. One of the richest fishing zones of the world. Okay, and the major fish here is a fish called as cod. Cod fishing. Canada has historically been the largest cod fishing country of the world. Cod fishing. और एक और बैंक है called as Dodger Bank. This is North Sea. North Sea का मतलब है this is Britain, coast of France. Okay. The Dodger Bank and Grand Banks. The two rich Grand Bank के साथ में ही दो तीन और banks हैं. We have got what's called as a Sable Bank. We have got George Bank. We have got Perry Bank. The biggest one is the Grand Bank. सब आसपास है. Okay. George Bank, Sable, S-A-B-L-E, Sable Bank, Perry Bank, all around the Newfoundland Island of Canadian coast. And the other is the Dodger Bank of North Sea. North Sea is more famous for the type of fish called as herring. Atlantic is more herring species. The Atlantic को sometimes called herring pond बोलते हैं. There's so much of herring in that ocean. But the Canadian side has more of cod fish. Snehal, I wrote productive zone and then important for oil and gas resources. Oil gas resources, I mentioned Bombay High, Gulf of Mexico, North Sea. If you know about British Petroleum, right? सारा Gulf War का जड़ जो है, one country is British Petroleum. Entire Iran war is British Petroleum. So when Iran, the oil of Iran was owned by Britain, was owned by British Petroleum Company. So ईरान ने लॉ पास कर दिया कि हम अपना ऑयल आपको नहीं देंगे. Okay. Otherwise, Iran was an ally of the West. Iran was a very good partner of US and Britain till the time they got the oil of Iran. And when Iran passed a law कि British Petroleum not allowed for oil of Iran, उसके बाद सारा प्रॉब्लम शुरू हुआ. Thereafter, British invested in dismantling their democracy, dismantling their parliament, उनका अपना emergency और सारा झगड़ा ऑयल के लिए चल रहा है. Okay, so British Petroleum is where you can trace the conflicts of Middle East. Like Iran का oil with British Petroleum and Saudi's oil with Aramco. Aramco is Arab American Oil Company. ठीक है? So British Petroleum starts with North Sea. Next 2-3 days में I'll put up a series of videos explaining what has happened in this geopolitics of Arabia, Turkey and Saudi Arabia coming together. आपके कोर्स का पार्ट है geopolitics. geopolitics in an ocean rim. Okay, so in that detail I can't teach in the class, but I think concepts. The current affairs part, next 2 or 3 days I'll come up with 3-4 series. So have a look. So geography का क्या issue है वहाँ पर? Okay, so some of these have a resource based and a geography based discuss the conflicts. Is it okay all of you? Shelf part. The shelf is shallow. The shelf has gentle slope. The shelf has the resources, high biological productivity. The shelf have banks, and they are the fishing regions of the world. अच्छा, इसमें बस और 2 पॉइंट ऐड कर लो. 2 more points. One point is that the shelves are features of ocean margins. The shelves are features of ocean margins that are passive without collision boundaries. That are passive without collision boundaries. What I mean by this system, imagine, so this is a continent, ocean, another continent, ocean. Okay? And now you know I can have a subduction here, I can have subduction here. Imagine, okay? जहां पर subduction हो रहा होगा ना, I will not have shelf here. जहां पर subduction नहीं है, we call those as passive margins. These are tectonic active margins. So if you look at Africa coast में यहां subduction नहीं है, यहां subduction नहीं है. I'll have a broad shelf. If you look at North America, the Atlantic side, this is all passive. यहां पर कोई subduction नहीं है. The Pacific side has, remember trenches here, बताया भी आपको, तो यहां पर shelf नहीं होगा, यहां पर shelf होगा. So wherever we have collisions happening, so if I draw a cross section here, a continent, oceans, and ocean subduction. This is say North America, this is Atlantic Ocean, this is say Eurasia or Africa, this is Amor. You can imagine the cross section of the field here. ठीक है, North America, this is the Pacific Ocean. यहाँ subduction हो रहा है, यहाँ पर trench होगा, there is no shelf. ये यहाँ कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, this is a passive margin. यहाँ पर होगा shelf. The shelves are features of the passive margins. जहां पर there is no subduction, there is no tectonic activity going on along the continent margins. और जहां पर activity होगा, okay, those areas will not have shelves. ठीक है? So within bracket mention this point here, the South American and the North American coast of Pacific, the South American and the North American coast of the Pacific Ocean does not have shelves. Does not have shelves. यहाँ तो कॉन्टिनेंट खत्म हुआ, डायरेक्टली ट्रेंच आ गया. Okay? But the Atlantic coast of North America, South America has shelves, and very broad shelves. The Pacific coast of North and South has no shelves. The Atlantic coast of North and South America has shelves. और काफी broad, I mean the shelves can be as broad as 1000-2000 किलोमीटर का shelf होगा from the coastline. The Atlantic side has shelves, not the Pacific side. Does India have a trench along the coasts of India? ज़्यादा पढ़ाई कर रहे हो आप लोग. Do we have trench here or here? No. That's why India has a very broad shelf. Okay? और शेल्फ में क्या करते हैं हम लोग? गंदा फेंक देते हैं. तो आप जो काम करोगे दिल्ली एनसीआर सिटीज में, सारा बैग यहीं पहुंचेगा. Your waste, your pollution, the agriculture effluents, the shelf gets polluted. Okay? So India has very broad shelves because India has no subduction or trench along the coast. Chalo, that's for today. We continue tomorrow. No answer writing, no extra reading. अगर पढ़ना है तो maybe NCERT का oceanography is first chapter you can read and come. Otherwise, just summarize whatever I've read here or taught here. That's about it. Those who have joined, listen. Those who have joined the revision sessions, the new ones nahi, aap log nahi. Okay, the older ones. Tomorrow you have the revision of climatology. Today 5 o'clock, all the content will get uploaded, which is your PYQs, your workbook, the 4 questions and answers. Your work is aap uska revise karo, do what you can, and tomorrow 9 a.m. you sit for the active answer writing. Okay, I will share the link. So new students, you be with this process. The older ones हम revision करा रहे हैं. Okay, as a part of their enrichment. ठीक है? So today 5 p.m. all the content gets uploaded, and tomorrow 9 a.m. you write answers, and I will discuss something at 3 p.m. tomorrow. ठीक? चलो, that's about it.